Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be doing a beginner guide for the character Susanoo for IronSagaVS. So, a few quick general notes. So, Susanoo has a quick dash which allows him to cover a good distance rather quickly, 950 health which is about average, and can double overhead thanks to his jump seat to J236B. And has one defensive mechanic being his parry which covers mid and overhead attacks and allows for a combo afterwards if it connects. So we're going to be covering things such as his normals, jump normals, both arsenals rather in depth, throws, specials, super attacks, some basic combos, frame traps, and finishing up with some strength weaknesses and just a general overview. So let's get stuck straight in. So first off, here's access to a couple of auto combos, making things a little simpler to confirm into your attacks after you hit. So he has a 5AA to 5C. The same for his 5B, so 5B, 5C, then a 5C follow up, and then 5C, 5C. And the blessing of that is that it's safe on block and super cancelable and has decent reward off limit breaks afterwards on hit or on block, which is really good. And also off a combos versus the back, so you can hit them with the 5C if they try to contest with like a 2A or something like that. It's quite good. And 5A is +1 on block. This 5B is mostly a combo tool which I can link into after his 2B, so just going to show you that now. Pretty much you want to do it pretty much no delay so that it links into it properly. Otherwise if you delay it too much like that it won't connect, so just keep that in mind. It could be useful as a situational anti, but it's mostly just used as a combo tool. And then you have 5C, which moves the character forward and mostly used for flash cannons and things. And has good reward and will always give you a flash counter on counter hit. Next, moving on to his crouching normal, so you have 2A, it is only a low option outside of his 2-on-4 A and B series. It's really good. It's +2 on block, just like 2B is +2 on block. And yeah, it could also go into connecting to 2C if you're nice and close, which is great. There we go. But generally speaking, if you keep things nice and safe, just go 2A, 5A, 5A, change to 236 or 236A on hit, or if you just want to be super safe, just do the 5AA C combo. Nice and easy. 2B, okay, couple 2B. So 2B, like I said, it's PlayStation hit and +2 on block, which means it can link into this 5B naturally. If not, just use it as like a way to check to see if the opponent's pressing buttons. Go into a 5A to frame trap them if they're pressing anything, stuff like that. Then you have this 2C, which is mostly an anti-air button, and it's also disjointed, so it means that the sword itself cannot be hit, but you can hit the body. And gives you a juggle combo afterwards into 236C. Okay, next is his jumping attacks. Jump normals. So he's got a built-in auto combo with jump A, jump C, and then you can finish up with J236B, which is pretty solid damage for a jump starter. Well, there's additional options to convert after that with either form, whether it's with meter you can go up at 2, 4, and 4 BC, or if you're in the other form, 2 on 4D. This jump A is quite good, just as like a way to catch the opponent moving around. Jump B is the cross up button, as you can see here. Cross up on the screen, which is really good. Jump 2B is kind of get off me move, especially if your opponent's jumping at you in the air, and just excellent. And jump C being his first jump starter, and good to kind of throw just to set up a wall if the opponent wants to move into a territory. It's the jump normals. So next we have his different arsenals. So the first arsenal, Sun and Moon, my personal favorite, has a couple of strong options going for him. So he's got really good airs thanks to the ability to cancel one special into the other, which I'll give you an example of in a moment, and also has a free charge projectile, a 5D and jump D. You can use the jump D from any angle, so neutral, jumping back, jumping forward, it's really good. Nice for catching anti-airs and kind of annoying the opponent, it's very good at that. That's decent reward on hit as well, as you can see there. So you could do like a medium or a heavy starter right there quite easily. He has a mash version, which just a couple of times puts him into a juggle state and also is +4 on block, giving you generally enough time to also charge up again with AC to get your gauge back. And lastly, it has a 1-bar command grab, which is 236 AB, and you can follow that up with 2-on-4A just for a bit of extra damage, or alternatively spend limit break to keep some standing up, so you can do a medium combo or pretty much whatever you want, except for anything which spends bar. So pretty cool. Next we have the more sort of mid-rangey focus on block. Since most of Susanoo's options are generally pretty unsafe, so finishing with that is pretty decent option. Catch pressing buttons and things. You have his 2D, which launches 3 projectiles to mid to long range, so the opponent has to do the boost dash to get away from that. It can be particularly annoying for especially some of the larger characters to move around the screen and do that. Also has some combo utility, so feel free to check out the combo document or just have a look at the in-game combo trials. They have some combos with the 2D. I'm originally not as familiar with Arsenal 2 as the first one, so forgive me if I don't have all the combo related stuff. Then you have 236D, which is a full screen fast projectile that you connect into his loadout super. Gets straight in. So pretty solid damage, and it's +2 on block, so finish what you want to do is you can do that, then charge up again, and you're still have quite a bit of advantage, so you can do that and then just charge up. Then just dash in, and not really much the opponent can do about it, provided you hit them. Just has excellent reward regardless of what it does. And then you have 2-on-4D, which is excellent. It recharges on hit, or even on block actually, as I discovered earlier. Or even if it whiffs, you actually get all your gauge back, which is pretty cool. Not that you want to be just whiffing it, not hitting anything, but it's something to keep in mind to finish up your combos, and especially after you like spend and then go to 2-on-4D, up to 260, and then there's also an aerial version too, which means you can do it just like before with the JA, JC, into JC236B, you can do, and with J2-on-4D instead, and get all the gauge back and decent corner carry. And just like before, so I said A plus gets your gauge back, and it'll slowly drain down. It takes about 11 seconds to drain completely to nothing. There's a couple of different setups to gain your gauge back, but since it's only a beginner guide, the main thing I'll just cover is that you can do 236D in the second arsenal, and in the first arsenal it's normally after you do 236C spaced, and pretty much like meaning outside of the corner. Gives you enough time to charge up, which is cool. And now we're going to move on to his throw. So forward throw, nothing too exciting, you get like a dash forward, like a 2A or 5A, which is fine. Then on back throw, you get something really cool. You actually allows you to connect it to his super. The timing is a little bit tight, but pretty much you want to be looking at the time as they fall down. I did a bit too late there. Yeah, so pretty much like as they're about to fall down, you can let the super rock, and yeah, boom, 300 damage just like that, which is pretty powerful. Not many characters get access to that, so I think it's quite a nice upside for Susanoo. But looking at special things, we're going to move into his specials next. So we have a few different things. So his 2-on-4 series is a bunch of lows. So he's got 2-on-4 8, normal ender, gets a bit of corner carry, is quite reasonably unsafe, so -7. Does a hopping low, 2-on-4B, and then a crossover 2-on-4C, which is fantastic for catching players mashing your strings or just always to keep them aware, especially in the corner. I often forget that you can still be hit by cross-ups and things, so it's pretty cool, and all of those are super cancelable to add just a little bit of extra damage, or cancelling into the other special move if you're an A1 with gauge, which is pretty cool. Then you have of course his parry, so it works to mids and highs and gives you a combo to 2C, 236C. It's quite nice to have. Better than nothing, that's for sure. So pretty much means that your main defensive options are over once you have 3 bars or very low health. And next we have the overhead variant, so 236 series. So 236A doesn't actually hit overhead, it's just a mid, but one way to go to slightly higher damage. Light ender after a 5AA auto combo. Very unsafe on block unless you space it, and even then it can be something to be caught, so it's definitely has a reasonable bit of risk to it if you aren't super good at hit confirming. If so, I just recommend just going into the ending with the heavy, so 5 AAC instead, if you're worried about that. Keeps them standing. We have the 236B, which is an overhead -4, so it means you can be hit by like a light button, like a 2 crouching light or something, if you're really close to them, but otherwise it's pretty safe. And like I said, hits overhead, and pretty special is his heavy version, so 236C, so you can change the momentum of this by holding back, just pressing nothing, goes about mid screen, and while holding forward goes almost full screen, and it's +2 on block, meaning you can hit them with the 5A to check them pressing buttons and things. And last but not least, the 236BC, so the metered version, hits overhead and attacks full screen, coming out as soon as you land, and you can hold back, it crosses them up. So really strong option, especially against long range characters. It's one of the few characters that I'm aware of who can just punish full screen like this. It is a little bit slow, but it's better than. It's good to have an option like that to just get in like that, and it has excellent scaling as well. So. And not forgetting the jump versions as well, so he's got, as I said before, J236B, sword head overhead, allowing for the double overhead. You have the J236C to adjust your momentum, so it's pretty cool, so you can move really far forward, move all the way forward and then back. There's also flexibility there, which is really nice. And then we have the supers, so you have 236, 236D, which are both unique to each arsenal, so the version in A2 which we're currently playing is fully invulnerable, dealing decent damage, and requires a 236D to connect, so it's pretty situational. You're not going to be spending this a whole lot against a wise opponent who might be perhaps more defensive, because the startup is pretty slow, but it's better to have a reversal option than nothing. So. And then you have the Universal Super, which both of them get access to for 3 bars. So it's fully invulnerable, has a big pillar, as we can see there, comes right in front, so you can. But theoretically, if you're already above him when this comes out, you're totally safe, otherwise you're probably going to get hit, just because it's so massive. And then we're just going to quickly show off the unique version for his Sun and Moon version in Arsenal 1. It's not invulnerable, but it's very big and sort of allows us a soft but kind of fake setup afterwards, since it travels very slowly. So a lot of players, once they rise up to this, they'll run forward and press shield, and then just eliminate the threat. Pretty much what you can do is you can do like an early blow or overhead, or maybe even just like a duck and dash up command grab if you're in the A1 form, but really it's mostly just to get a player off you by doing like a button as you're waking up, that kind of thing. So yeah, so situationally good, but not too crazy, and it's rather unsafe on block, but no, it's not bad. It definitely has some situational uses. So now we're just going to go over his combos shortly, so enjoy watching it. Alrighty then, that is all the combos covered, so now I was going to quickly cover a couple of frame traps, so options after stop your opponent pressing buttons after the combo or during a block swing, stuff like that. So the standard one's going to set up the opponent to a crouching light. There we go, first we just the block, pretty important. So that's a pretty easy one, is a 5A, 5A, 5C, space them out, or even better is 2A, 5A, 5C, since it pushes them back even further. And catch with the 5C, 5A into 2A, or 2A into 5A, since they both cover that. Max range 2 through 6A can sometimes work. That's pretty slow. Or rather, it'll catch like a standing 5A, but a 2A recovers a bit too quick in those cases. Do max range 5A, 5A, 5C, but can be pretty situational to catch the opponent's body. Another thing I like to do, especially in A1, is you can do that. So 5B mash to, oh, that's the problem, into 2B, and then you get a full combo off that. But ideally you want to be pretty close to like a yeah, it's tricky, but there is a certain spacing where you can actually get a 5B follow up for just a good low cost combo. And yeah, that's pretty much the character in a nutshell. So he's got a couple of good things going from multiple sources of fluff streams thanks to 2A, 2B, and 2 through 6C. And double overhead is pretty cool to have. Catch your opponent off guard. Solid mid to long range options with 5D, JD, as well as 2 through 6D, and just the whole gamut of options in the second form, second arsenal. And yeah, he also gets good option to bait reversals thanks to that combo being a true string, meaning that they can't press buttons and stuff during it. So if the opponent tries to mash, they do that and walk back, and if they're still mashing a reversal, then it's going to come out, and hopefully you can get a good punish. So that's pretty cool. But that's about as far as his strings go. So he has a couple of glaring weaknesses for sure. So as I mentioned earlier, his only low attack is his 2A. Well, safe low rather. His 8A up is going to be a bit weak, since like if you just kind of float over him, there's not all he has to do is to commit to a jumping normal or like a parry, which can be pretty risky since it doesn't stay around for very long. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like the lack of reversals outside of 3 bars. But overall, you know, Susanoo, he's an easy to learn, hard to master character, since his game plan is just incredibly simple, and his better options can be rather committal at times. He has access to solid zoning tools and good buttons to keep the opponent in place, but lacking regular like air-to-air stuff outside of the occasional backing can definitely be a struggle, especially against some of the stronger characters in the game. I've personally been having a lot of fun with this character, and I think he has the tools to do well, especially if you're someone like me and you enjoy making those big reads to mix up your opponent with multiple overheads and cross-ups and things like that. And I think he's quite good at playing that sort of game. But yeah, overall I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and so I hope to continue making a few more of these guides in the future. I'm really enjoying this game, and wherever you are, have a great day and be blessed. Bye.